All right. So we're going to this is actually in the talk, the breathing techniques, right? Okay. So I'm going to go through the two techniques that you can use at any time, any day, any night, and it will help you spring yourself out of fear and dread. So I think the most important thing, right, we're going to do for ourselves every day is to ground ourselves. Before you ever get out of the bed, right, ground yourself and just make sure that when you're lying there, you just let everything be. You know you don't have to be anywhere. You don't have to do anything. You're just waking up. So wake up nice and gently and put your hand on your heart, right? And feel into the love, right? The love you have and the gratitude you have for everything that's in your life, right? And just feel the people you love, the animals you love, the home you love, the food you love, whatever it is you love, and just feel the love. You pick what it is you love the most. And just give yourself a moment to feel that. Feel your heart, picture the person in your mind, picture the dog, animal, whatever it is you want to visualize. Picture it and feel it. And feel the warmth and love and security you feel because you have that wonderful person, animal, home, whatever it is you love. You have it there in your life. And just feel that for a minute. Take nice deep breaths in. And sink into the feeling. It's important you take time out in your day, especially first thing and last thing in the day, to appreciate and give gratitude for the people you have and the animals or whatever it is you have in your life that you're extremely grateful for. There's always something, right? It could be just having a roof over your head and food on the table, right? That you're safe. You're in a warm place. If you've only one other person or animal in your life that gives you comfort and is just there for you to ring at any time you need, just cherish that. It's always something to be grateful for. While you have your hands on your chest, I want you to do a little bit of box breathing. This is excellent. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed, fearful, dread, just do a little bit of box breathing. And what it is you breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're going to do this nice and slowly now. So inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now repeat that yourself. Okay, so inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're in a situation, keep your hands on your chest. If you're in a situation where things get too much, you're in a plane and it's bouncing around the place, pull this out of your back pocket, right? Somebody's getting annoyed with you and you're not able for it, just pull this out of your pocket. Go quiet and pull this out of your pocket. Don't have to engage with anybody who gives you heck, right? You can walk away or you can just do your breathing quietly. They won't even know you're doing it. The other one you can do is a double inhale, and an exhale. You repeat these things, both these exercises 5 times, and I can guarantee you everything will come nice and relaxed for you. So inhale, and again, inhale, double inhale. You do it once or twice there now. And as you're doing it, you might find you want to do it slower and slower each time. So you're getting more and more relaxed because your heart rate is coming down and everything's coming down. There could be situations you're in that warrant you needing to calm everything down, right? Okay, you get afraid. Something you get, like if you're in an airplane and it suddenly drops altitude or starts shaking, whatever. That's a fear. That's a fear thing, and it's a, oh my God, am I going to die kind of thing, right? That is something that, right? Okay, you can do the breathing. Do the breathing. Know that there's nothing you can actually do at this point in time, and we'll get more into that in a minute. But you know that what you can do for yourself is you can breathe. You can calm everything down. All right, I'm sitting here, right? You can do this. You can write this out. I can trust that the pilots know what they're doing. So that's just one example, right? So you get an idea of, that's an extreme example. So you can dial your way back to whatever your situation is then, right? So I'm going to give this a shot now and basically go through it with you. And then at the end, I'll do a relaxation if I have time, because there is a lot to this, right? The important thing, when things like fear and dread come about, right? They can trigger things like anger, right? Okay. Now, a lot can be said and done in anger because you're in fear, right? Whereas if you take a moment, right, take a moment to do these exercises and breathe, just breathe, say, right, I need a moment, breathe. First thing I always do, breathe, right? Get myself in a position where I'm calming myself down, because it's an emotion, and an emotion lasts 90 seconds. So you want to get yourself through that 90 seconds, right? So you're there and you have the emotions going through you, and it's revving up everything, and you can see red, and you're just rawr, you're like fear, anxiety, dread, and all the rest of it. And you're like, okay, what do I do first? I breathe. Right? So you do your breathing exercises. You don't lose the moment. Don't get sucked in quickly, because you will regret it, right? You will say something you'll regret, and you don't want that, right? So you need to breathe. The first thing you always do is breathe. That's vital, right? Then what you need to do is you need to look at the situation, right? And decide, right, do I want to step away from this? Is it too volatile? If you're having an argument with somebody, or somebody's confrontation and it's too volatile, do I want to step away from it? Acknowledge where you're at, right? Okay, I need a minute here. Just keep your mouth shut. Silence is golden, right? In a situation like this. So take a minute, just go inside and just ask yourself, right, breathe. Is this something I want to get into now? Do I really want to get into this? Do I need a minute? Am I too fired up? Am I too afraid? Is this serious? Like, is it a serious situation that I need to take a minute, even 5 minutes, to just breathe and get my head around this for a minute and acknowledge, right, this is the situation I'm in. Even if it's falling in the house, that I've done a couple of times, right, with my bloody ankles, and I'm lying there on the ground, right, and I'm going, oh, shoot. I'm sure that's not what's going out of my mouth, but I'm going to be polite here, right? So I'm lying on the ground, and you can imagine what I'm saying, but I'm going to substitute it with a nice word. So I'm saying, oh, shoot, right? I'm lying there. The pain is driving up through my body, right? I'm like, okay, hang on a minute now. Let's let's get together now. What do I need to do? I'm lying here. My ankle is more than likely broken. I'm in agony. What do I need to do? Right. Where's my phone? Make a plan. Acknowledge where you're at the moment of time, right? Accept where you're at. No matter what the situation, if it's just you're afraid of something mild or you're afraid of whatever, just look at the situation, right? It could be you're just thinking about your ME and you're afraid of your ME and what it could lead to, right? Don't waste your time thinking about that, because you don't know where you're going to be in 5 years' time, right? You don't have any controllable over that. It's not a controllable. So you look at your situation, right? Okay, I'm here now. My situation is this. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm 5, right? And you say, right, I accept where I'm at the moment, right? I'm here. I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. It's not something I can control to a certain extent, but I can control parts of it, right? The ME is the ME, but what can I control about it? I can control what I eat, right? I can control how much I do, right? I can control who I meet. I can control how people speak to me, right? All those things, right? You can control all those things. Your place in the ME where you are living, whether it be you're in a wheelchair or you're not in a wheelchair, or you're able to go to whatever, or you're not able to go, or you say, right, okay, if I do this chunk, I can then rest. Or if I do this chunk, and you can say, right, I can do an hour, I'll meet my friend for an hour for a coffee. That's what I can do. So you can control those parts of it. So what you're doing is you're taking the controllables and you're taking the uncontrollables. So any situation you're in, right, you look at it and go, what can I control here? Right. I can control, like I just said, what you eat, what you drink, what you do, and blah blah. I can't control what the future holds because I have no idea what it is, right? Okay, so you've acknowledged that you're in a difficult situation, you are sick. What do I want? That's a big question. What do I want? What is the best that I can be in this situation? What do I want to prioritize my time doing? Right? Do I want to write a book? Do I want to knit a cardigan? Do I want to spend more time with my friends? Organize my week so I can fit them in and say, right, okay, I'll do half an hour with each, maybe once or twice that week, and then I'll put another 2 in the next week. So you look at the situation and you make the best of it so that you're in control of your week. You're doing what you want to do. So the fear then of sitting there, you might be lying in the bed and you just feel fear and you're going, why am I feeling this dread and this fear? It's got a grip on you. You don't even know what it is, right? You're just feeling uneasy, right? And you have to kind of look and think, right, what is causing this? Right? So you have to look at your own situation. So the first thing is breathe. The second thing is acknowledge and accept, right? It's not that you're giving up. You're looking at the situation as is it now, and you're moving forward the way you want to move forward because you're in charge, right? Okay. Then the next thing is this right for me now? What I'm planning, is this what I want? What do I really want? Right? Do I want my grandchildren to come over once a week for an hour? Do I want them to stay overnight for one night a week on a Saturday or one night a month or whatever? What do I want? Do I want my friend to come over to the house? You decide, right? Because you're in charge of it and you do what suits you. So that you feel more in control so that you're not fearful, right? Sometimes we get into fear and we catastrophize and things are blown out of all proportion. And at the end of the day, right, there was a study, right? There's a study done, right, in the UK. 85% of what people worried about doesn't come to pass. 85%, right? that means there was 50%, 15% of people that it did come true for. But those 15% said, 85% of that 15% said it wasn't as bad as they thought, not even near as bad as they thought, and they learned a valuable lesson from it. Right? That is mind-blowing, because of the fact that you're looking and you're worrying about something that might never happen, right? And if it does happen, 85% say it wasn't even as bad as we thought, because we catastrophize. We make everything, oh, it's, like that time in the plane when it was going bubbly, bubbly, bub, and everybody thought that they were going to die, and they were crying, and they had. I was fine, because I distracted myself with my son, and I was there going, oh, isn't this great? This is wonderful. This is exciting, and all the rest of it, because I had to do it for my son. So it didn't affect me in that way, because I distracted myself and I changed my perception for him, right? But the other people were all screaming, and they were all crying, and they were puking, and they were doing all sorts of things. And in the end, we were fine. We didn't die. It was a bit of turbulence. It was rough turbulence, but it was grand, right? So that study, that's a great study. It gives you a different perspective on things, right? When you get in a situation that is an emergency and you fear, like terror and fear and dread, am I going to die, or blah, 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 go and do your breathing, right? Look at the situation and say, right, okay, I'm here. I have to trust that the pilot knows what he can do. And anyway, I don't have any control over it, right? And again, that's an extreme situation of fear. I'm just making it extreme because you look at other things and go, okay, they're not as extreme as that. They're like this, right? And they will be important to each and every one of us, right? So you decide what you want, right? Okay, you observe your thoughts. Your thoughts are like, conveyor belts. They just go by and by and by, right? And you can observe your thoughts and see what your thoughts are. So you observe, right? When am I in fear? When am I in dread? And what's causing? So you can investigate these things and get curious about them, right? So that's an important point. When something happens, put your hand on your heart, right? Breathe and reassure yourself that I'm going to get through this. I can do this. I'm able for this, right? I've said this before, we're all at an age where we've been through a lot and we've survived it all. We'll survive the rest of it. There's no bother with us. We're strong, And then ask yourself, right, control the controllables. This might be a bad situation, but what can I do? I can do X, Y, and Z, right? And then it's up to the lap of the gods then, and you have to hand it over, right? If it's not something you can control, right? You give it away. And the thing is, if you're dreading going to do something in your daily life, right? You're saying, oh, I want to, I don't know, what do I want to do? I want to do something, I don't know. I want to go out and do something new in the garden, say, I'm going to give it 10 minutes, but I'm kind of going, a little bit of fear that will I be able to do it, or dread, is it going to be too much for me, or whatever. Turn the bus around, right? And say, right, okay, what do I want to do? Do I really want to do it? How much do I want to do? Is there a huge desire to do this? And then give it a go. If you don't give it a go, you'll never know, right? And if you want to start small, do it for 5 minutes, right? And see how it goes. And then say, right, that's enough for today. And then the next day, do it for another 5. And then you might try it for 10 minutes and see you're all right with 10 minutes, and do it for 10 minutes then, or whatever it is you decide to do. You're all individuals. You have your own things that you'd like to try. But the thing is, give it a go. Give it a go. And if it's something outrageous, you're going to go like skydiving, you're going to go, no, that's not realistic. We have to be realistic at the same time, right? Okay, my skydiving days are done, right? So if it was If it was skiing, right? I haven't skied in years and years and years, and I know that it would take a lot out of me. But if at some stage I decided, do you know what? I might give it a go to go down the baby slopes and see how I get on, to get just the feeling of skiing, do you know, for 5 minutes. Do you know, I might give it a go. Do you know, who knows? But it's something you have to decide, right? But you have to decide whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. There's no point of being on the fence, right? You decide, you ask yourself questions. Is this what I want to do? Is it going to be good for me? Is it something I really want to try? Even though I can only do a tiny bit, give it a go. Tiny bit is worse than is better than nothing, you know? And you analyze it yourself and you see, right, okay, investigate it, get curious. If you have an investigative and a curious mind, that's far better and far more exciting than a dread and a fear mind, right? You're putting the fears aside and go, listen, I don't have to do this, but I'm looking into it. So the fears are gone because you don't have to do it. But do I want to do it? That's the thing. It's up to you, you know, completely up to you. You can do the best you can. There's no such thing as perfection, right? Don't worry about perfection. Nothing has to be perfect. If you give something a go and it's all right, at least you gave it a go, right? If you didn't give it a go, you wouldn't have anything to kind of gauge off. But if it's not perfect, it's fine. But the next time you try it might be a little better. And the next time, and the next time, you might be doing your crocheting or your knitting or your painting or whatever, and you might give a new painting a try, and you go, oh, yeah, that's all right. It's not perfect, and that's perfectly fine. It's your perfect. It's not even perfect. I wouldn't use that word. It's you're happy with it. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You're happy with it, right? That, by going for it, will give you a little bit of motivation, right? That's what we're looking for, a little bit of motivation, right? Okay. And you can plan up to, you can say, right, I'll rest now up to whatever time, and then I'll go and I'll have a bite to eat, and then I'll go out or give this particular thing 5 minutes. You only have to give it 1 minute if you want, right? It's completely up to yourself, right? But give it a go. Do you know, you might discover a whole new love, right? That you can do. Okay. And if you need help, right? If you want to do something and part of it you can't do, but there's parts of it you can do, ask for help. A friend or a colleague or a brother, sister, aunt, uncle, mother, father, whatever situation you're in, ask for a bit of help and say, listen, I want to do this, but I can't do that part. Could you possibly help me? And they'll either say yes or no. And if they say no, grand, ask somebody else, right? Okay. And that way you get to do what you need to do. And it could be a really good bonding exercise for you and a friend to do together, do you know? So that's another way of looking at it. Okay. So figure out the parts you can do and figure out the parts you want help with. State what you want, feel it, see it, and feel it again. You have to get into the visualization of it and what you want out of it. What do you want? What's your end result, right? And no matter what you're doing, right, whether it's big or small, do it in baby steps, baby steps. Understanding the situation you're in, accepting the situation you're in, and giving it a go, right? Okay? So don't be afraid to try new things. That's the thing. Don't have fear and anxiety around doing new things, right? You can decide, yeah, that's be too much for me now. I'll do this. Or maybe I could do part of it, right? Okay? So when you're feeling a feeling, whether it be fear, anxiety, dread, whatever it is, terror, acknowledge it and name it. I am not, you don't want to own it as such. You want to acknowledge it and name it. So you're not owning it because you don't want to feel it too strongly. So you want to own it and you say, right, I'm I'm witnessing fear now, right? I'm witnessing fear. What am I afraid of, right? What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it in my body, right? So you're investigating, right? I feel fear. It's mostly in my tummy. It's in my chest. It's tight. My neck is stiff. It's making me this, whatever. Okay, so what can I do about it? Is it controllable or is it not controllable, right? Can I get help for this or can I let it go, right? Okay. And when it's a feeling, right, you can decide with any feeling to flip it at any time, right? You can be in a feeling and you can be at the bottom pit of a feeling in fear and despair and everything, and you're fretting and whatever. You can't think straight there, right? Okay? So you look at it and you go, right, I'm witnessing fear, despair, right? Okay, all right. This isn't what I want. How do I move out of it? What can I do about this? Is it something I can control? If I can't control it, if somebody's in our family is seriously ill, I can't control it. What can I do? I can be there for them. I can sit with them. I can read them stories. I can play them music. I can bring them in a nice cup of tea, right? Because you can't control what's going on for them, right? But you can do something about it. You can look at the areas you can control, right? And let the rest go. Let it be. Let it be. It's going to be what it's going to be. But what you want to do is see what you can do in the situation to help yourself, to get out of the feeling of dread. I'm dreading this. I don't want, like before my father died, I used to be walking along I was working in Rosslare, I'd be walking along the beach and I'd be bawling my eyes out and going, what am I going to do without him? And I love him so much. And that's natural. Yeah. But what did I do? I said, right, what can I do? So I would go into a mode of, right, okay, I can go home. When can I go home? I can go home and visit on this date, whatever. And because I had to pull myself together before I went back to work, right? Because I had to be myself, smiley as they call me, inside work and greeting people and put it in a box and then go out and just let it do my work. So you look at a situation, a very serious situation. I knew he was going to die, but I did cry. I did, I did mourn the loss before it was coming because I knew it was coming. But what I did was I made sure I got home as often as I could to spend some time with him. I would ring him every night and have a good old chat with him and stuff like that. So you can bridge the gap then, because I was in Rosslare and he was in Limerick. So there were things I could do to make the time I had left with him the best it could be. So they're just serious situations. They're obviously in a day-to-day basis. We all have serious situations, and it's important that we know, you can go into a hole if you want, right? It's your choice, but do you want it? Is it doing you good? Is it doing the other person any good, right? It's not really, because they don't want you feeling like this, right? You're no good to them if you're feeling like this, right? You need to make a plan and get your thoughts together and see what can I control and what can I not control. It's control the controllables, basically, right? Okay, so how are we doing for time? Am I gabbing on? Okay, all right, we're doing fine. You can ask yourself, right, I'm feeling like crap. I'm upset. I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm afraid of this. I'm dreading this. I'm anxious about this. Do I want to stay in this pit, right? And I would think, for me, the answer is no, right? Maybe you say, yes, I want to wallow in this for a while, but it's your choice, right? If you want to get yourself out of it, you can, right? If I had wallowed on that beach in the loss and I hadn't pulled myself together to go back to work, and I had to go back to work, right? Because I knew that my father wanted me to work. He knew that I was enjoying it. He was teaching me how to work and survive for when he wasn't there. So I knew this was something I had to do. I had to grow up. I had to work. I had to kind of analyze the situation so that I could carry on doing my work and dealing with the seriousness of the situation, because I absolutely adored my father, right? So you look at the situation, do I want to stay here? Yes or no, your choice, right? Okay. It's not good that you stay in the I it's easy for you, or it's this or that, or I can't, I do this or I do that. You decide what you want in your situation. You accept it for what it is, right? And you say, right, okay, what's best for me? What's best for the situation? The people around you, there was a time there when we were about to have him sell the house, say, okay, because Jim was out of work for a long time. He was out of work for about a year and a half, and it was a situation where we said, right, okay, we sell the house, we move back to Vancouver, we take Sam with us, obviously, and we get a job there because it's a far bigger industry, and we know he'd get a job there. At the time I had ME, so I couldn't work. So basically my job was to look after Sam. So we looked at the situation, we said, right, okay, this is where we're at, right? If I get this interview, we're fine. If I don't, our plan is to just sell up and go back to Canada. So you look at the situation, you say, right, okay, that's a dramatic situation again, but you look at your situation, and just to give examples of, right, I can do this and I can't do that, but I can do this, and you decide, and get out a piece of paper and look through it, right? If you stay in a bad situation, right? Okay. If you stay in a bad situation and you don't kind of tweak your perception and make the best of a bad situation, it's going to make your situation worse. Okay. And that's the important thing, right? Okay. What's it going to cost you to stay in this situation? Are you going to get more, I don't know, anxious, fearful, paranoid, all those things? Are you going to get more of that in your life, which isn't going to help matters? Or can you have a look at it and say, right, okay, let's acknowledge that, yes, I'm witnessing a fearful situation at the moment. I am scared. I am dreading this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's the situation there, right? Okay. Which direction am I going to go from here? Right? Okay, so you have to look at the situation. You decide out of 10, what is the rate at? Is it a 9 or is it a 5? And you say, right, okay, what can I do? Like your child is, say, for example, I have a happy knack of jumping into the situation. When things get serious in my life, I jump into them and I go into action mode and doing mode and, right, what do I need to do next mode? And that has served me all my life. Right? I've had numerous situations which were life and death, and that has served me very, very well. Right? So I would recommend taking action. When you see a situation, you take action straight away. Don't overthink it. Just say, right, okay, this is the situation, and this is what I need to do to, get through it. Right? And write it out straight away. Right? And that has served me through lots and lots of life-threatening situations, right? So basically, yeah. So I would recommend that. Okay, so are your thoughts realistic? That's a big question, right? Are your thoughts realistic? Okay, so I have a happy knack in my life. Say, I had a situation there with Sam years ago where I brought him into the hospital and they thought it was appendicitis, and then they didn't know, so they sent me home, and a nurse got me. And these are the lucky people I come across in my life, and I've come across them several life-saving times. And basically, this was one of them. And she said to me, she said, go home, but if he's not right, come back again. Right? Okay, so I came home and I put him in his room and he lay down, and I turned on the TV. I said, I'll go get you a drink, whatever. And I came out here and I didn't get the drink. I started pacing up and down this room here. As you can see, there's a long room there, right? I started pacing up and down there. I couldn't settle, and I was going, "What am I going to do? This isn't right. There was something niggling at me, and I call it my guardian angels. They niggle at me and go, "There's something you need to do. There's something you need to do, whatever." And I couldn't figure it out, and I was going, "What do I need to do?" So that's what I usually do when I'm in a serious situation. I just say out loud, "What is it I need to do?" So I'm going there, and I stay quiet then for a minute, and I listen. And I went straight into his room, told him, "Get up, get off the couch." And I was very demanding. I said, "Get off the couch." He went, "What's going on? Get off the couch." And he was off the couch. He said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I said, "I need you to jump up and down." He said, "Are you serious?" And I said, "I need you to jump up and down." And he jumped up and down and landed on the floor. And that was what I needed to do, right? I don't know where it came from, but I basically did it. It came from an instinct, a gut feeling, whatever it was. And I brought him straight back to the hospital. And basically what happened at the end of the day was the surgeon came out and says, "You're bloody lucky." He was 2 minutes, even 30 seconds away from exploding appendix. He was that close, like a hair away from burst appendix. And those are the kind of things that when a serious situation comes up or something comes up in your life that you have to deal with, you basically kick into gear, go, "What do I need to do now? You know, where do I need to go with this?" Do you know? Or it could be an everyday thing. You just say to yourself, "What is it I need to do right now?" Right? What do I want to do? I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling these emotions, right? I'm going to do my breathing. I'm going to make my way through this feeling, and then I'm going to see what I'm going to do and take action, right? Take action. That's the biggest thing you can do. The other thing is, you get yourself into situations, right? And through life, you've discovered you could get yourself out of situations, right? We've all got ourselves into situations and out of situations, right? There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Okay. And if the light is dimmed or whatever, because it's a serious situation where somebody dies or something, then you have to deal with that. And in another way, you know, obviously you have to deal with the grief and all that. But if it's a situation where, say, for example, when I fell and broke my ankle, say, right, I'm lying there on the ground, I'm in agony, and I've more or less know that the ankle is gone. And I'm there going, "Right, what do I need to do now?" And I drag myself across the floor to get to a phone, right? And I called someone to collect me so I can be driven over to the A&E or whatever it is I have to go to. They have clinics and stuff around Limerick that I go to. You know, so then you go in and you don't think, you know, you go in and go, "Right, let the doctors do what they need to do, right? They'll do what they need to do. I have to trust them that they need to do it." And then you come home and you've got a cast, you've got whatever you need, a boot or whatever, and crutches, and then you take it one step at a time, right? From there. Right. I mean, look at poor Jean. She had a terrible time. She had the surgery. Now, hopefully, she's going to get better, and she'll get. You know, that was a serious situation that she had to mind and trust that the doctors would do what they needed to do, and she did, and they did it, and now she's on the road to recovery. You know. So it's about looking at things and seeing, right, okay, where's the light at the end of the tunnel? How do I make my way out of this situation, right? Okay, back to some sort of normality, right? Okay. What is the fear? How do I challenge it so the fear gets less, right? What is the path out of this, right? The path from fear, dread, terrified, scared, whatever it is, out to, right, okay, things are looking a bit better now. You're getting your way back. You're finding contentment again, normality, you know, and taking it one step at a time, right? And the things you can do, always look at the things you can do, right? You can look at your thought process and tweak it, right? You can look at it and say, right, okay, this thought process is doing me no good here, right? It's only making things worse. I'm catastrophizing. It really isn't helping. I need to turn this around. Or you can look at your lifestyle changes. What lifestyle changes do I need to make things better for me? So I'm not so fearful. Maybe your fear of falling down the stairs, or fear of tripping over a step or whatever, and you need a different you need to make some sort of a lifestyle change. Maybe you have been diagnosed with diabetes and you have to make the changes that will make life better for you with diabetes. Or you've high blood pressure, what can you do to turn that around? Right? Okay, your cholesterol is high, what do? You turn it around. You make the choices, you change your outlook, you tweak your lifestyle, you look at your thoughts and go, what can I do? Right? What can I control here? Right? Somebody said to me today, Jesus, I would never have thought that you were struggling with your mobility, and struggling with your life changes and the life changes to make and stuff. And you don't look as if you can't exercise, and you don't look like you're 55 and blah, blah, blah. And I would say, yeah, because I control the controllables. I changed my lifestyle, I changed my eating pattern, I changed my thought process, I changed everything, right? Because I wanted to make the new me as I suppose pleasant for me. My thought process, I didn't want to be doomy and gloomy, and I didn't want to be wallowing in my own self-pity and all that kind of stuff that you can get very caught up in, right? You don't want that, because I looked at it now, it's not good for my child, it's not good for my husband, right? I need to do what I can to do to make life as normal as I can for them, and they can work around. But what I will do for them is I will change my perspective on life. I will change my outlook on life. I will teach my child as much as I can through life, and how to look at it and how to handle things. And my husband, I will just try and be myself and not worry about things, because the minute you start fearing and worrying and catastrophizing, you make life miserable for everybody around you, right? Everyone around you. And that is reality. And I didn't want to do that. I was never like that, right? So I didn't want to go down that avenue or that road or that path. So I chose a different path, right? And I found things. I mean, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I did what I mulled around for the first few years, and then I got to a hole in the wall, and I really thought, right, okay, I need help now. So I asked for help. I got the help, and then I started doing this where I help other people. But I only did what I could do, which was 1 or 2 hours a week or something. Do you know? I mean, and if I couldn't do it, someone else would step in, or blah, blah, blah. It was all voluntary, so it didn't really matter. But I just, it's all about your perspective in life, right? Your belief, your wants, how you want to, be, how you want to feel. Do we want to feel joy and contentment, or do we want to feel dread, fear, anger? Because fear does lead to anger, and anger is a terrible, terrible emotion, right? And you can be angry at the whole world, and it can be very unpleasant for you and everybody else, right? Okay. And I didn't want that for my child. I didn't want it for my husband. I didn't want it for my friends. I didn't want to be, so I threw myself into whatever I could that would help me. That would be photography, a bit of art, a bit of in the garden. I would do little bits in the garden. I would lie out there. I would potter on and cut different things and stuff. And, I found things that worked for me. Okay. So something I wanted to read here. Okay. The other thing is, when you want to think about things, when you're thinking, okay, open up and let your possibilities be endless, and then you can curve them into what you want, right? Okay. So don't limit yourself. Be open and relax and let the thoughts come in, right? Let them come in and let yourself think about them and digest them, right? And then you can carve them like a carving, like you see these beautiful benches carved out of solid wood. You carve out the life you want and you cut away the bits you don't want, and then you smooth out the other bits. You know, I mean, it's important that you honor your beliefs and your wants and your loves and your desires and all the rest of it, right? Something else I wanted to read to you. Okay. Learn to face those moments without fear and dread, and you'll do much better. Say, I can handle this, and I am going to learn something profound from it. Your perceptions can change and your thoughts can change. You're in charge. Okay, that was one thing. The other thing was, if a problem is fixable, there is no need to worry. And if a problem is not fixable, there is no need or benefit or help to yourself to worry about it because you can't control it. Okay? So in the end of the day, face what's coming. Face the situation that presents itself, no matter how big or small it is. You can handle it. Believe you can handle it and say, right, what do I need to do? Right? And if you have to stand up and put your hands on your hips and do the superwoman pose, right? That is also a good thing, right? Because you want to feel stronger. And if you feel strong, do the Superman pose. Stand up, put your chin up, shoulders back, right? And put your hands on your hips and do the superwoman pose, right? And say, I can do this. What do I need to do first? Right? That'll give you strength. That'll give you strength. Then do your box breathing. Can you control the situation or not? If you can't, let it go. And if you can, do something about it. Make a plan.